So, good evening, Facebook. Um, Hopefully, I can get this out because I'm sitting in my room, and since they're over here right in front of me, they usually hack it and mess with the video. So, we'll find out. Um, I'm also wearing this as a reminder to somebody. Anyhow, supposedly a lot of my exes are involved. My very first boyfriend, Michael May, he's in the music industry. Um, I really don't know if he's involved or whatnot. And then my second boyfriend was Antonio Shaw. Obviously, he's involved. Now, Michael May is a Sagittarius. He's born December 9th, and I remember that. Don't ask me why. And Antonio was born August 16th. There's another Leo right after him, my boyfriend Angel Martinez, who was born August 14th. And then I also dated a guy named Miguel. He would be, I think, the Cancer. God, I can't even remember his last name. Miguel. Oh, sorry, that's a little exposing. But I was only with him for a year, and it was kind of like I was forced into it because I told him I wasn't ready, and he was like, "Oh, it's okay, I'll be patient." But I ended up having to move in with him because at the time I was homeless. And this is between 25 and 26 years. And then there's another boyfriend who is married now, Alberto. He was the one that got me pregnant when I was 29. I remember I was drunk, and it was my birthday, and I was doing so well with life and my career, and I was single, and I was just happy. I was so happy. I would just go out for karaoke and have a drink, but this time I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get nice. And yeah, I made the wrong mistake, and I was right at my car when he ran over, and I was like, it'd be nice to be with somebody for a change. And I remember I told him, don't do that inside of me because I don't take birth control. And he did it anyway. He did it twice, in fact. And I was so broke, and he was such a piece of trash and broke himself. He was just waiting for his mom to give him his inheritance. And I was like, you're not even doing anything with your life. Like, he would go to other empty beer bottles or cans around the Hideaway in Riverside was where I met him. It's a bar. And he would go around and literally drink other people's drinks just so he could get enough of that alcohol. Like, that's how little whatever. Anyway, I ended up keeping him in school. Told him, yeah, go to school for what you want to. And he ended up becoming a mechanic, and he got with this white girl. I don't know if her name is Amy or something. But I remember I helped him move out of his aunt's house. His aunt and uncle, very abusive, and they were really weird, and so were the kids. And I helped him move in with his grandmother, I think in El Monte or something. And I remember I helped him move, and she just did not like black people. And I remember what she said. She's Nicaraguan. And after I helped him move, I literally lifted all his stuff into her little RV trailer, whatever, her RV mobile home. And right at the end, she goes, "Hey, you're not welcome here." And I was like, "I'm sorry, did I offend you?" She's like, "Your kind isn't welcome here." And I got real snippy with her, and I said, "Oh, well, you should have told me that my kind wasn't welcome here when I was just helping your son get all this crap. Maybe I should go in there and bring all the rest of his crap out, and you can help him since your kind is so much better than my kind." Oh, I was a spitfire. I was so angry. And I told her, I said, "Oh, you know what? And just because you don't want me here, I'll come right back." And I said, "I dare you. I dare you to do something about it." I was really offended. But anyway, I think he's also a Cancer, and he is whatever. And then after him, Larry, Juarez, Larry. I recently saw him again before I left California this year. probably in January. And he's homeless now. He stole $800 of my dollars that was supposed to be to fix my Mitsubishi Lancer Rally Art because I was trying to fix the transmission. And he just stole it, used all the money, and then after 3 weeks told me I need to get the car out of the lot. He and I used to do auto body repair. I would help him. He was teaching me. And then when I started to try to be a part of his dream, it was like he wanted to control it. And then he stopped wanting my help. It was just stupid. Anyway, off the top of my head, I don't remember when he's born. He might also be like a Pisces. Oh, I think he is a Pisces. But he and I were never boyfriend, girlfriend. We messed around. That was it. But I remember I was so like about him, and he would play his ukulele. I remember one time he's like, I'll play it, and he's driving with his knee and playing the ukulele going 80 miles an hour on the freaking 91 West. So he was taking turns pretty good with his knee. What a crazy fool. But we were never dating. Well, like, we dated. I remember one time during the winter, what did we call it? It was like winter festival kind of thing. In Riverside, and it's the Mission Inn Hotel. It's very, very well known for, see, they're messing with my internet already, but it's very well known for, how do I explain it? It's like a monument, you know, like people go there for a lot of stuff. It's an attraction area, right? And, so I remember one time he was like, let's go. You know, he took me by the hand and we went, and I remember, we're not supposed to be in there. Like, they get really weird. They have a lot of security, and we were in there, and God, my hair always looks like crap on here. But we were in there, and I remember we were going in and out of the hallways, and he was telling me, like, oh, supposedly room 212 or something, or 208 or something was haunted. And I could feel it. I was like, yeah, it's haunted. I don't want to be in this hallway. And I remember security saw us, because they have cameras, and they were, like, trying to find us. And we could hear them when they would call each other on the radios, because there was security throughout the rooms, housekeeping, everything. And we were like, oh, crap, we got to get out of here. And I remember one time we got out through this door, and the door led to a balcony area, and the balcony was so close to the roof. So we jumped on the roof. And we went to the it was like a clock tower. And they had the Mission Inn had decorated the clock tower like with Christmas ornaments, you know, like a Santa Claus, reindeer, snowmen. It was so beautiful. I remember I was so in love with him back then. That's probably the best memory I had with him. He was always so adventurous. Oh, you know what? He's an Aries. He's an Aries. I just remembered. Yeah, and then I think a Cancer. Because everybody keeps saying your exes. I have a lot of exes. Russia Anderson. He's a Scorpio. I think I was 30. When I started dating him, he was 46. And he was always so patient with me. He was very good to me. He just had a drug addiction. And I knew when he fell back into it every time, because he would distance himself from me. And he would always tell me, oh, I'll like, hold on real quick. I'll call you back in a little bit. I'll talk later. And then I started to get more involved with some of the people that were mutual acquaintances. And I remember the first time he went to rehabilitation, it broke me. It was really hard. He ended up in Blythe. it was really, really hard on me. I was crying all the time, and I was like, well, if he's going to be in the safest place for him, if I break up with him, would be in rehabilitation, because at least, he had a foundation to fall back on. So I broke up with him. It was really hard. I still went and saw him through his entire rehabilitation. I remember his mom was like, we could still be friends. And I was like, I don't think it's appropriate, because I'm trying to move on from your son. But I loved him very much. If he's a part of this, it's so sad. So sad. It's possible he was doing heroin too. Another man that had tooth problems, just like my most recent ex, tooth problems. After Russia, that was when the falls were really going down. I ended up with one of my ex-best friends, Soraya. Her boyfriend became my boyfriend, well, her ex, Dylan, and he actually did gay pornography, and he was always like, I'm a porno star, but he would never show me the porn, and I was like, let's look at it while we're doing it, how exciting, and he would never show me. And he lived with this African-American man, and this African-American man, he was older. He was in his 40s, and I think when I was dating Dylan, I was 33. Yeah, around there. And I remember one time he was so broke. He was really stressing over rent, and I was like, well, I can't help you. I'm already trying to keep my own apartment. And he was just stressing. And then I remember after 2 weeks of stressing, he didn't mention it anymore. But I remember one time when I came over after he didn't mention it, we were messing around, and he was laying on his stomach, but he was naked, and his butt was very red. I mean, like, unnaturally red. And it wasn't like, it almost looked like rug burn. So I think he allowed somebody to do him, which would be the owner of the duplex that he was living in, so that he didn't have to pay rent. That's what I really think. So Dylan was an undercover bisexual, because I remember, what was his name? There was this gay guy that just always wanted to talk about Dylan. I can't remember his stupid name. He was so annoying. Like, oh my God, where's Dylan today? Is he coming into hookah? I don't freaking know. And then when Dylan got abusive with me and hit me and busted my contact, and and he had the nerve to be like, how dare you put a hand to me? I was like, you just busted my contact, and I'm laying on the bed like, oh, and he's like laughing at me. What a sicko, right? And, so we had that falling out, and then I was gone after that for like 2 months, and he wanted my attention, and unfortunately I went back to him for a little bit, and then I was just like, next after that. But yeah, he was a piece of trash. Like, he was a loser. He had an inheritance when he was 18 of $149,000, and what did he do? 18 years old, waste it, got in a motorcycle accident, went head first to the ground. And now, every year, he has to remind himself of his life, otherwise he'll forget it. He liked to make me feel bad. Oh, I was a teacher in China. I was like, yeah, but you can't. He paid like $700 for a fake certificate so he could teach and make good money. He was always about those quick money things. I remember he told me how he was like on a ship doing fishing for a while, and it was good money, but it was like 3 months or something. And he always wanted to be all grandiose, but he was paying $300 or a booty call so he could have a roof over his head. But I was actually working like 2 full-time jobs while he was cheating on me with, what was her name, Katie. or something. This real scrawny white girl that went to the hookah lounge, and they thought that I didn't know that they were messing around. Really, bro? Why are you at her house at 3 in the morning? I'm not stupid. We were playing video games. Oh, yeah, I bet you we're playing a couple little video games down there. I'm not dumb, especially if I have a graveyard job and all of a sudden when I come to you in the morning and you're not horny and you're like, "Oh, I'm tired," and you don't want to have sex with me. And then you gave me chlamydia twice. When we first got together and when I was leaving you. And guess what the talk of the town was in the hookah lounge? She had chlamydia and she was always opening her legs. So you think I didn't know Dylan come the on. Then after Dylan, that was when Daryl came around. And then after Daryl, I think I met Shaman Gilbert, the Native American man. I don't know if he's a participant. He was an older gentleman. He was like 50 something. There's somebody else who's also a Taurus. My former construction boss. Richard didn't like when I said his name, so I'll just not say his name. But he was always good to me. And there was a comment you said that made me realize you're also part of it. Like you knew something of it. And that's why when I called you a couple weeks ago, I know that you didn't mean harm because you always kept giving me positive feedback. You were telling me, like, just ignore it. You were always good to me, and that's what I will always remember. That's why I told you I wanted to manifest something for you. Because I think you do deserve love. You do deserve to be happy. And I know you don't have much time left before you have to pay your dues for the DUI. But I would like to still keep in contact with you because, like I said, you've always been good to me. So I recognize that over everything. But we were never boyfriend-girlfriend either. Just never seemed to be the right time. And then, let's see, and then it was Richard. I was single for a while after Daryl. Daryl really, he did a good job trying to destroy me. I remember when I got you kicked out of Duke's, the bar in Riverside, off of Blaine Street. You know the owner, she's born on my birthday, right? Even if she knew what was going on, she loved me. She wasn't about to have that continue in the bar. I love her. She's awesome. I think somebody came in the house already and they're like just hanging out in the owner's room right now. Or it's some more monitoring spirits. I don't know. To this point, I really don't give a crap anymore. This is getting old. So when you guys were talking about exes and stuff, that's what I was thinking about. I was like, man, how many exes? Even if all of them are participating, including Angel. Yeah, there's certain ones that I really don't care to have any relation with, and that would be Antonio. Michael May, I don't know. You're married now, so I don't think you're even participating in this. But definitely don't give a crap about Antonio. Definitely don't give a crap about Alberto. Don't give a crap about Dylan. Don't give a crap about Daryl. the one who I shall not speak his name, who was last, you know, I hope that you do stay in contact with me, because I do appreciate your friendship. That's about it. And supposedly there's a lot of these readings about a new person coming into my life. I haven't talked to anyone. I'm not trying to talk to anyone. I need to really work on my faith. Today was a really hard day. It's a really hard day. And I know why, and it's kind of getting annoying, but anyhow, I hope everybody's doing well. I think it's sad that my dad's wife, my mother, I never even met the woman. I think it's just sad that my sister and my dad's wife, they've been together 3 years now, almost 3 years. In December, you guys got married in October or something. That you guys literally have to try to take content from my business now. Come on. You want to act like me, be creative. Anyhow, I hope everybody has a good night. I would definitely take some of these tarot card readings with a grain of salt, because the timelines aren't right. There's a lot of inconsistencies. There's a lot of possibilities, and that's the real reality. Is these are possible outcomes. Not necessarily are they the outcomes. And the more I manifest, not necessarily will it be the outcomes. But somebody, well, I know a few of you are drinking, but somebody in particular who's drinking, I know you're working very hard, and like I told you, my last trial helped me with my ascension, and that last trial is a very hard one. It's a very hard one. And you have to really face your demons. They're your demons. That means you can control them. You have the capacity. And just be smart about everything. My focus is definitely getting out of this damn house. So that I can be in a place that's safer. Because I'm pretty sure somebody utilized my mouth yesterday. Because for some reason, like, I woke up fine, and then I decided, I'll probably sleep on the bed during the day. Nobody's going to come in here. And after I woke up, it was like less than an hour and a half later, I woke up and my neck was sore, as if I was doing something for a very long period of time. So, and my neck is still a little sore. So, yeah, I'm kind of getting tired of sleeping in the bathroom with a lock on it. It's getting really redundant. And I'm trying to have a lot of restraint, because there was a psychic reading done, and I remember when I was very vengeful at some point, probably 2 months ago, and somebody had actually picked it up on a reading, and that's when I was like, no way, this is crazy. Like, how did they know that that's what I did? How did they know that I wished this? And somebody mentioned that it was love magic, and I was like, oh crap, that is me. So I'm trying really hard to restrain myself because I really don't have to do anything, which is so fascinating. I really don't. And like I said, dabbling in stuff, it's fun. And I'm kind of fighting myself because I know I shouldn't. A lot of you are not worth my time. A lot of you only want the attention to feel like you have value. Out of all of you, there's only one person that has value to me. And they know who I'm talking about. So I don't see anybody but them. All of these blah, 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 whatever. I don't care about any of you. All the gossip. Aren't you tired already? Like, aren't you bored yet? I don't know, man. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to comment before I turn this off. Hopefully this is still recording. Is I went to CVS today, and my tires were fine, and somebody literally shanked my tire twice in 2 different areas. And so when I was on the freeway, all of a sudden, my tire was flat, my front driver's side. Oh, and I want to tell you this, because God is good. Even though I'm struggling with my faith right now, because I'm fighting myself, there's a couple things in that I need to relinquish. I was sitting there going 1 mile an hour off of the freeway. What was it? I think it's the 143 or the 202 freeway over here in Phoenix. And somebody stopped me while I was going nothing an hour with my emergency lights on and my poor car clinkety clank. And says he was in a white truck, and he goes, hey, they do tires right here, like right here. And it was right, like I was about to pass it, and he drove up on my left side and told me it was right there. So I was like, it looks like a dealership, but screw it. So I went into the dealership, and there was an old man in a red shirt, and he was like, oh, I went to him. I just stopped the car, got out, and I said, hey, do they change tires here? Because I've got a flat. And he was like, no. And I was like, man, that guy in the white truck freaking lied to me. What a bastard. So I was mad, and the old man, he was just jibber jabber. Oh, well, you got this, and I don't do this here, and then, and I was like not even trying to listen to him. I was like, okay, you already told me no, so I'm about to bounce, And I was like, okay, all right, no problem. And then he was like, well, you can ask them inside, like I'm just the messenger. And I don't know why, there was a glow about him, like energy. So I was kind of like, all right, let me stop being rude and talk to this man. And so I went inside and I asked. They were like, no, we don't do tires. It's like, so I came back outside and I was like, no, they don't do tires. I was like, it's okay. And he's like, oh, well, if you like, I'll drive behind you when you go to the tire shop. Because I said, oh, there's a tire shop down the street. I said, I just hope I make it there. And he's like, yeah, I can help you drive. I said, oh, it's okay. You're smoking your cigarette. It's all right. And he was like, oh, it's all right. It's no problem. And I said, well, if you don't mind, I appreciate it. And so, I backed out. My poor car. I backed out. I was basically driving on the rim by this time. And so I get out, and it takes me, so it was supposed to be like a 4-minute drive from the freeway. And then it was supposed to be a 2-minute drive from where that gentleman was at that dealership to the actual shop. But it ended up being like 15 minutes because I was literally driving like 2 miles an hour. And so anyway, we get there, and he was very kind. He stayed behind me and had his emergency lights on so nobody bothered me. And we get there, and they start doing my tire, and I was like, cool. And then he and I were jibber-jabbering, And he was a little peculiar because he got a water and then he drank it and then he went in his car because I thought he needed a tire and so did the guy that was doing tires. So he's like, oh, pull up. And so he pulled up and he had a water that he got from the guy. And then after he came out of the car, he took a minute to come out of the car after he parked it. And then he came out and he was like trying to share the water with me. And he was like, I hope you don't mind. Like, I didn't really drink much of it. And I was like, sure, no problem. But I just held it. I actually did not drink it because I don't know this man. So I wasn't about to share my water with him. Anyway. But he actually paid for my tire. It was $45. I have the money, but that was very kind of him. And I said, oh, thank you. He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. He's like, I just want you to remember where I come from. And just the whole experience, I knew God wanted me to meet him today. I knew God wanted to show me that people see me and they genuinely are God-fearing. And yeah, I get it that I should feel safe, but I'm not, because I was just raped again yesterday. This crap is really hard. And it's like, can I just have a breathing moment? You know, like that's what I really want. I want a breathing moment so I can just sit back and just really contemplate everything that I have learned, everything that's going on. What exactly do I feel about it all? You know, that'd be really nice to have, you know, like a moment, but life never gives me that. For 6 years, life hasn't given me that. One more comment, and I was actually making a video of it earlier today, but it got interrupted. Talking about gangs, like I said, my older sister was in a gang when she was 16. I initially believed that this started with a business owner named Christopher Olson, who originally, he no longer owns it, IE Screen Printing on Arlington Avenue in Riverside, California. Because for 4 weeks, there was a black SUV that continued to park in front of my apartment, park across the street in the plazas, follow me to my parents' house in San Bernardino County, to my friends in Los Angeles County, and all over Riverside County. So I eventually found the vehicle at IE Screen Printing, asked somebody to get me the manager or the owner, and confronted them when he said, it's my vehicle. I said, oh, so this is yours. Well, anyway, long story short, I did a lot of research on Christopher Olson. He was part of the East Side Gangsters in Riverside, the city. His family, his brother was Deputy Olson of Jurupa Valley. He no longer is a deputy in Jurupa Valley. I found that out about 2 years ago. Christopher also has family in the Board of Supervisors, as lawyers in the judicial system. His family owns Riverside, the city. If you're on the Board of Supervisors, you handle the revenue of the city. Now, he was doing drug trafficking. I actually reported it to Congresswoman Kamala Harris at the time. A year after I reported him as doing drug trafficking, as doing gang stalking, breaking in and out of my apartment, I had tax papers missing, I was concerned about identity theft, I had a mortgage trying to be taken out on Christopher Avenue in Apple Valley, which there is no Christopher Avenue in Apple Valley, so they were taking out a false false mortgage loan in my name. That's why I got Aura, which, helped with a lot of suppression of people posting my actual address, the numbers, the apartment numbers on, like Truth Finder, People Search. I mean, they were relentless in following me. But having Aura helped a little bit. I still have Aura. But my point is he was part of the East Side Gangsters. And after I reported this to Congresswoman Kamala Harris, a year later, Donald Trump's former Secretary of State during his first term bought the company so that the FBI wouldn't audit it. You see what I'm saying? And for the next 3 years, fentanyl became a really, really huge problem in Riverside. And I noticed, as I came and went, I noticed all of a sudden we have a third police department now. And the third police department isn't open to the public. Aren't the police supposed to be peace officers that are public officials? Like, how do I explain it? Like, they're public servants. There we go. Isn't that not what the police department is? And it looks like an internment camp, really. I mean, it's just crazy. Anyway, I just wanted to mind people about that. It's not just, I don't know what gangs my older sister was in, but Christopher Olsen was initially the main guy that was following me. And he's Caucasian. And his Riverside, the police department, I actually tried to do an investigation. They didn't like that. It got real quiet. A lot of the vehicles, when they started hacking me, that was after I had started looking at a lot of the vehicles. And I remember a couple times I went to the police station. And at 6 a.m. at the detention center in Riverside, they were paying people $100. I remember I went up because I started to see a line form, and I was like, what the hell is this about? And I said, I was about to just drive off, but then I was like, nah, I want to know what's going on. And I walked up, and this is when I still had my Mitsubishi. Well, he's in storage right now, but this is when he was still drivable. And some guy goes, hey, are you here for the $100? And I was like, what are you talking about? And my Mitsubishi had tinted windows, so nobody could see me in it. And I had started driving it again, so I think this is during the first 4 months of my stalking. And he goes, yeah, my brother told me you'll get paid $100 if you follow this gray car with blue front rims. And at the time I had decked out my car a little bit. I got blue rims only for the front. I initially was going to get blue rims all for it, and then I was going to change out the inside and put like LEDs of blue because he's silver. So it was a nice little backdrop. But I ended up only getting 3 rims, so I just put 2 rims on myself. I put 2 rims on, and they were on the front of the vehicle, and they were blue. They're still blue. So I remember I was like, what? Like the Riverside Detention Center is paying people $100 to follow my car. And that was the first time I realized that the police were involved. And then I started going, in Riverside, there's like 4 different garages where they have all of their unregistered cop cars. And I went through all of them. I was like walking around with my nice little camera, everything. And that's when they started hacking my stuff. That's when they destroyed my Toshiba. That's when they destroyed my Toshiba laptop, my HP laptop, multiple phones, my hidden cameras in my apartment, my dash camera. That's when they just destroyed my equipment, destroyed it. And that's when they started really destroying my jobs. They let me work for a while, but I was harassed a lot. And then the minute I started really like recording, that's when they started hacking me, and that's when they started making me lose my jobs. And yeah, so the Riverside Police Department, Highway Patrol in San Bernardino County is a participant as well. It's really bad. Anyway, I just wanted to mention the gang thing. I don't know what Christopher Olsen is up to anymore, but just the fact that Donald Trump's former Secretary of State bought the business, and Christopher Olson was still running it as if it was his own. It's just that the Secretary of State bought it so that he didn't have to be audited because he was drug trafficking. I just want to make that comment. Anyway, I'll let go of the rest of that. But for you guys that are drinking because you're in such a delusional state, like, take care of yourselves. You know, I am glad that you feel guilty. I'm glad you feel remorse. I'm glad you feel horrible about what you have done to me. I want you to really try to look at it in my perspective. If you woke up during the day and you were watching while your front door was being closed and locked, and you're like, what? I just changed the lock yesterday. Nobody else has the key. How would you feel when you see stuff like that? When all of a sudden your mouth doesn't taste right when you wake up. Your body doesn't feel right when you wake up. Your anus hole is, spread out more than you remember. You have diarrhea for some reason. You wake up with a huge headache and you're sick for weeks. Directed energy weapons, Havana syndrome, by the way. They did that to me a lot when I was in the apartment. All of a sudden your animals are sick and throwing up all the time. And I know that you sacrificed my cats, and you know what? You sacrificed Julie's dog, Gizmo. I remember how upset she was when she came back home. She was only gone an hour, and the dog was fine before then, and then she was just dead. I think Edwin was doing magic on it, her baby daddy. You all are sick. You're sacrificing animals. My poor Pimpin, my poor black cat. And I know you know I loved that cat like a son. I took those cats from the street and made them my own, even though I was allergic. They were my babies. Elizabeth, too. No, I want you all to feel exactly what I felt. I want you all to go through exactly what I felt. The humiliation, the harassment, the insecurity, not feeling safe, being violated, being mocked. I want you all to feel exactly what you did to me. And when you die and you're reincarnated back into this life, I hope you live another life of that. I hope it's for eternity. I hope you never learn your lessons. What you put me through, what you were okay with doing to me. Guess what? God's not okay with it. I'm not lifting a finger. You have unleashed God's wrath on your own. And I will not pray for you. I won't. Hell hath nothing like a woman's wrath, right? But just because I don't pray for you doesn't mean I don't feel for you. You know, I don't like that you guys are going through this. But I've taken myself outside of the situation. The duality is going back into the situation. Yeah, I want you all to suffer exactly how you made me suffer. Reciprocity, equivalent exchange. That's what I want. And I'm pretty sure with all of the horrors and trauma that you've put me through, I don't think you guys are going to survive it. And that's not my problem. You brought it on yourselves. One person, though, I need you to take care of yourself. You need to fight your demons. That's all I wanted to say. I really wanted to just talk about the whole gang thing. And today, how my tire was messed with, but it still didn't stop me. Sorry, guys. Anyway, have a good night. I'm done complaining.